Betsy Stewardson. When my family and I found Peace Tree a couple years ago, we'd been searching for a church home for a very long time. We had moved to Memphis from Minneapolis in 2014, and we had visited no fewer than like 15 churches in the first 8 years that we were here. I'm sorry most of you have never met my husband, Jeff. He works every Saturday and Sunday morning. He's an air traffic controller, and so he joins us at special events sometimes, but isn't here on Sunday mornings with me. But it was important to both of us, the church we chose to join because of our own faith, but also the way that it would impact my children and the faith that they grew up in. In a number of churches we visited, we heard messages about God and about who could really belong in God's family, which carried an unspoken or sometimes even spoken list of requirements, as though only people who fit a certain mold were considered worthy of God's love. That didn't reflect the God that I know from the Bible, and it wasn't the message I wanted my children to grow up hearing. So it took us a long time to find a church that fit for us. I know y'all, I wrote in here, I know y'all have seen my kiddos. You've literally today seen my kiddos wandering around. I flip in Beckett, and then Mila is in the nursery as well. Committing to a church was something I took very seriously because what they grow to believe about Jesus can be immeasurably beautiful or immensely harmful. Discovering that my lifetime Zumba friend Chris was the pastor of a church just down the road from my home was the blessing that I had been searching for. After getting to know the Peace Street community, I requested a meetup with Pastor Chris and Dr. Durbin to ask about their beliefs about Jesus and about our role as Christians in the world. Following that discussion, I knew this was the community I was looking for, and where I wanted my children to learn about the joy, friendship, and guidance that Jesus has brought to my life. I currently serve on the worship team because I truly love to sing and play piano, and Psalm 100 thankfully reminds me that God isn't asking for perfection, just joyful noise. I said yes when the need arose for an interim finance team chair. I felt called to serve and help keep the good work of this community going. I also give financially. Generosity is part of our calling as Christians. But Paul writes in 2 Corinthians, God loves a cheerful giver, and it's more than an obligatory tithe, which in some faith communities comes laden with rules and judgment. I give cheerfully because I believe so strongly in what Peace Tree is doing in Jesus' name. Peace Tree is generous with its space, its time, and its care for people. It opens its doors to the community week after week for children's events, pickleball, basketball, Zumba, and more. It cares for the marginalized. I love that our church packs Narcan kits to put life-saving tools in the hands of those who need them. Holding this event on Wednesday youth night reminds our teens of something so deeply true about God, yet too easily forgotten when it feels uncomfortable. God's love isn't limited by boundaries or conditions. Every child of God is beautiful and full of inherent, unmitigated worth. Not only have I found my church home and church family here, but I have confidence that my children are learning about Christianity in a way that I hope will help them grow into people who love and accept others the way Jesus did. I have found that to be harder than I think it should be recently, and it matters deeply to me and to my husband that that's the message they receive. So I give of my time and my talents and my resources because I want Peace Tree to keep being this kind of place for my family and for everyone who walks through their doors. I'd love to continue growing in faith with all of you. If you'd like to share your own story about what Peace Tree means to you and why you believe it's important to give back however you are able, I invite you to talk with me or Pastor Chris or anyone on the leadership team. The last thing I just wanted to hit was when we were up here singing, and it's just something that hit again for me, and I know is also perfectly, it's why we did it, in part with the stewardship message is the Lord is speaking and saying, I will speak my word to them. I will set a feast for them. I will bear my light. Whom shall I send? And just that reminder that we'd love to say that God just opens up the heavens and comes here and does it again. And Jesus did that, but now it's us. We are who he will send. And to answer that calling is something I love to do and hope my children will grow in here and do the same. Thank you.